evidence-based policy is in fashion. It has been around for many, many years. It is an old problem, but I think we should really innovatively contribute to it in different ways. And one of the ways that we do is to gather key decision makers like yourself, directors, deputy directors, and advisors, and share the evidence. I think in the future, our ambition should be also to have a demand-driven policy dialogue, because I think we should design it right from the go, or right from the very beginning or the start, with policymakers, yeah, with agricultural ministries and so on, putting their priority at the center of the research that we do. With those remarks, I think I welcome you to this session, and I would be very, very happy to sit and listen to the exciting evidence that you have and how it can also feed to policy making. Welcome, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation and coming and having this workshop with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Abi, for those remarks. When you say that hunger is the first order, it's something that is within us, that is very touching. So many of us may be privileged, but many of our communities also are underprivileged. So we should really think about how we can contribute as the people who are running now policies, research, academia, and all this. What is it that we can do to alleviate some of these problems? Thank you, Abby, for those remarks. They really resonate with the agenda of the day. The theme is better policies for better nutrition and health in African retail markets. So there are various challenges that if we design our research and policy development in a good way, we should be able to contribute in a better way. So I'm going to call upon the first presenter, Professor Ashagrie Zewdu from Addis Ababa University. Why we have called him is because he has done research in Ethiopia, which has somehow influenced policy. You know, when we talk of policy influence, it looks very theoretical. And sometimes we wonder, how is it that we can connect? How can we transform research to something implemented, something that we can see that is influencing lives of people? So he will give us some of the experiences he has had in Ethiopia. Then as he presents, we are going to reflect and see if for us, that is for us, how can we do something similar? What is it that we can borrow so that we can improve on policy implementation that is being advised by research? So, Professor Ashagrie, you're welcome.
Going to move the slide.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really honored and privileged to be here with you today. It's my first time in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. You have a nice country. I'm from Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Thank you for having me here. I want to thank the African Economic Research Consortium also. It's fine. For inviting me to give this lecture. So, as Mark said, my name is Ashagrie. I'm from Addis Ababa University, Center for Food Science and Nutrition, Addis Ababa University. I'm an associate professor there. So the last 4.5 years, I've been leading a Bill and Melinda Gates project called Insure Dairy Project, which just completed last year. So that project for me has been very successful in many aspects. So I want to share that experience today with you. So my talking points are going to be, first, I'm going to give you a brief idea about what the project was. Then I'm going to follow what are the major results, and including policy influences that directly or indirectly that we were able to bring through this project. But as we go through along, not everything is easy. Changing a research into a policy, it can be very hectic, especially working with governments is very difficult. But I'm going to give you the methods or the tactics that we, as a project, has used to influence government. There are mechanisms that I want to share and get your experience from me. There are opportunities and challenges. Okay. There are opportunities and challenges. And mostly we stop at policy level. But as you can see from this slide, there are three things that I'm saying. First, you have a research, you push it to a policy, and sometimes it remains stagnant, especially in a resource-limited continent like ours. We give a lot through our research. We come up with the policy, but stagnation happens. So still, where the resource is going to come, we need to think about the action and the practice. Also, we need to think about that. So I would say the other side of the coin is you need to think about how we're going to make it practical or implementable. Then the last one, we are going to give you a message, how this group can learn from us as a lesson so that you can take it in. Finally, if you have questions or anything that I said, we'll cover. Next, so when I introduce the overview of this food safety, milk safety project, Professor Abi has been saying that in a country like Ethiopia where food security is a challenge, talking about food safety is a bit luxury. So it has been always a difficult topic for me. I've been working on food safety for the last 15 years, but sometimes even it can be taken as a political issue. So it has been very difficult. But when I see the topic here today, it says health and nutrition. And health and nutrition is not going to come just by eating food only. You need to eat a nutritious, healthy food. So it's going to be a very, even more challenging to convince government to go beyond security and think about the quality of the diet and the safety of the diet. Has been very difficult. Still, it is difficult to still today, especially in a country or globally. We have lots of people who are still not going to get enough food every day. So it's going to be a bit challenge. So as you can see from this project, this is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the UK. It's around 1.1 million. It has taken 4 years. I'm the project lead at Addis Ababa University, but Kansas University, Penn State University, and a local agriculture research. The good thing that I brought these ladies or girls is that this is a combination of gender. Honestly, they have helped me a lot. When it comes to nutrition and food science, I don't know, they resonate, the women resonate with the topic because they are responsible as a mother, a family member, so that they have that passion, honestly. So not only this, even my graduate students are also involved with, most of them are female or women students. So that makes me very proud. Next. So this project has started first from identifying the problem. So I have seen problem analysis is always important. So we try to do that with a review paper by trying to identify what are the risk factors. Then we were able to do a research. So far, you can get the publications. We are already published around 25 scientific papers from this research the last 4 or 5 years. The good thing is that, yes, when you have graduate students, they care about their career and they will produce lots of publications for you. So I really want to appreciate my graduate student. I used to have 4 PhD and 6 master students who has participated through this. So the richer the publications, you can find them online. I'm not saying this is only works for Ethiopia. The context is similar. In a smallholder, milk farming is the same. In most of African context, it is similar. And finally, we didn't stop stating the problem or doing the research where we tried our best to communicate our work to the stakeholders. So yes, value chain actors, the government stakeholders, and to the public, so that we can influence it in a policy and interventions mechanism. And even we try to provide trainings for farmers, for the value chain actors from farm to fork. We're able to provide these activities. So what are the major results or outcomes of these projects are going to be outlined in the next slide. So as I told you, the publications are the most important, the capacity building that we have taken place in these 4 years. Honestly, we make food safety to be the top of agenda in the government through this project. We have been insisting a lot, so we were able to do that. So as you can see, we have contributed a lot in the identification of knowledge, good manufacturing practice for milk processors, good hygienic practice for the farmers, good transportation for the retailers and the transporters, as you can see that we motivated the Ethiopian government to focus on dairy, not only dairy, to the whole sector of milk, specific professionals and others. So in the next slide, you'll see, even we influenced the government in different policy platforms. I will come through the methods, how we have done it, but there are, let me tell you what are the influences that we're able to achieve here. This is the most important one that makes me very proud. The first milk standard in Ethiopia is in 2009. From 2009 up to 2021, milk standard is not mandatory, while standard of water and beer used to be mandatory in Ethiopia. So we pushed it through our research by showing those 20 research papers. We insisted to the government, you cannot make water and beer and alcohol mandatory and make the most perishable product, milk, not mandatory. The government doesn't want, or the private sector doesn't want milk to be mandatory because the work is difficult. When it is water or beer, yes, there is a private sector who's going to handle it. But for us, milk is for a child, have you understand? So it is the most risky product for a child. So we insisted that if you don't make this mandatory, we gave him all these papers and say, and we didn't do it only by begging the government. Sometimes we go to the public and say, look, we have such kind of findings, so you need to push the government to come up. So this is mandatory. And what you see next is so surprising. When it was become mandatory, when influenced this policy in 2021, all the processors have complained. They say that they don't have the capacity. But now in 2023, out of the 16 milk manufacturers, 6 of them has got certified, meaning their product by third party. Look at them, even they are using the mark of the Ethiopian standard, traceable, have you seen? So when you squeeze them, they have the capacity. They don't want to invest. Have you understand? So academicians and researchers, you need to be louder sometimes, have you understand, to be heard. Otherwise, if you shy away, no one is going to change. Private sector only want to make a profit. So I'm really happy most of the companies are product certified now after the project has completed. The next one, not only they certified their product, now the government has installed a milk marketing proclamation. This proclamation, I can tell you, has been in the government file for the last 10 years. But when we pushed it for now, that's because the quality of the milk is affected because of illegal traders. You can't carry milk everywhere with a plastic from one shop to another without following the cold chain. But now we are pushing without a cold chain, nobody should transport milk from one place to another. So that requires a milk marketing proclamation. Next one, sorry, please. Next one. So this proclamation is ready. This is me attending a ministerial level task force specifically for milk. Unfortunately, I will say in the next pictures, all the 3 ministers are not in their position now, unfortunately. That's the most boring part to tell to everyone that's going to come along every year or every 2 years. Can be hectic, but still we documented and say, whenever someone comes, look at this, your previous minister has agreed has gone into commitment, so filing like this. So when you see the next, this is a ministerial level consultative meeting to focus on milk safety in Ethiopia. So this is where I'm presenting for the ministers. I got this opportunity. I'm really lucky because through some people that I work with. Next one. This is me. That's what I said. This is Ministry of Health, Dr. Leah, Ministry of Trade, and Ministry of Agriculture. But unfortunately, I'm in Côte d'Ivoire. It's unfortunate. None of these 3 ministers are on their post at this time. So at least this is in 2023 that I presented this. Now we are in 2005. All the 3 ministers are not there anymore. So this is going to have its own effect. But as a researchers, we need to document and argue these evidences. So the good thing about this is that even if we are saying milk safety, the momentum of milk safety has led to the bigger picture of food safety in Ethiopia. Have you understand? Even if we pushed it for dairy, now this task force has upgraded from a milk to the food safety steering and technical committee of Ethiopia. So this, I really appreciate that. Even if the coordination, the collaboration is weak, still this is something that I'm really asking. When I say me, think of it, the whole project members that I'm representing here. Next one. So when I started my project in 2018, nobody think about a strategy for primary agricultural for commodities. Because Ethiopia is an agricultural country where 80% of it, what we export is primary commodities. We don't add value chains, we don't process them. So this is Ministry of Agriculture. I'm part of this technical committee and strategy producer. So we launched the first national food safety and quality strategy for primary agricultural producers. So I'm really happy these are influences has come because of the continuous iteration of our work. The next one, in collaboration with African Union, last year on this time, May, last year on May, African Union also has come up with an initiative said Africa should have African food safety policy and strategy. If there, most of you are here, I need to tell you a news that the African Union also has endorsed the establishment of the African Food Safety Agency. So that's a big deal for us. I understand to have at a continental level to have a food safety agency goes a long way. So I've been the one who has been coordinating this work for Ethiopia. 12 institutions has participated in this. That's me again presenting this to the African Union and to the government stakeholders. So this is something that we have done last year this time. So these are some of the influences that we made, but I want to focus for these groups. What are the techniques? I'm not saying I have read the literature or we divide the mechanism. It comes along when we are facing a challenge. I understand. After working so hard, if the government is not going to listen to your research, you need to do something. So what we have done is, in the next one, what I'm going to recommend for you, next slide, please. Next. So you can see this is the flow of influencing research for a policy. First, you need to have a quality data, which is trustable. I understand? Repeatable journals, so that everyone can agree. It's not going to, because sometimes they will come on the quality of the paper where they want to accept it. So you have to make sure that you close all the doors so that the government is not going to have any way out. I understand? Because there is always a reason they will say they are not going to accept the research. Then you need to translate that knowledge to every value chain actors, academicians, government stakeholders. As much as possible, they need to understand you. When they trust you, they will be on board. Next, you need to engage the stakeholders. The stakeholders doesn't want to be told at the end. They want to be part of the process. I understand. Most of the problem that we face is you do the whole research, and when you finish, you want to invite everyone and tell them this happens. They are not going to accept you. So the first strategy that I'm going to recommend is that engage the government from the start. They feel they are part of it. They are part of the solution, part of the problem. Otherwise, if you are going to prescribe for them, they will get offended. Have you understand? So this is a mechanism that we have built. This is from inception up to the final closure. And beyond that, you need to act, or you need to be partner, not a rival of government and researchers. So that's the first recommendation I give you is make government stakeholders and make sure you do your stakeholders mapping properly. Make sure that everyone is represented. Otherwise, even a single institution may affect your engagement. Have you understand? He say, I'm the one who's authorized, much better than the other one, so you didn't include me and it's going to affect you. Second, the next one, don't do it only by begging the government. You need to co-create this with the stakeholders. Have you understand? Meaning from experts like you who are working in the government, who's going to support your cause. So you need people in the government. Have you understand? When you say government, it's all about people. So government, don't think it theoretically is some kind of power. It is a composition of people. So you need to find the right people inside those organizations. For me, the good thing is that I am a teacher who has been teaching 15 years, and most of my students are working in government institutions one way or another. So for me, it has been easier for me to influence them to do things for me. Have you understand? Positively. The next one, press release. We engage the public through mass media. Whenever we start a project, we'll tell him, and it makes us also accountable. Some projects are not accountable. They promise a lot, and at the end, they don't deliver. So when you give yourself out there for the public through media, you are going to be accountable. Your delivery is going to be questioned. So this is our press release in 2019. As you can see, this 4050 project is already on mine. There used to be 6 projects who's going aligned with our project on food safety in Ethiopia. One is Ohio, Denmark Technical University, and Ivory has been having each of type of on different commodities. Me on milk, others on poultry, others on meats or horticulture. So we have been communicating to get support from the public. The next one. And when you implement this project, please make the community part of you. By the way, the most rewarding thing that you can get as a researcher is the feeling that you get from the community, from the farmer, from the women, honestly. They are ready to learn. They want change. It's only that there are several limitations they have, but they want to change. I understand. Whenever we tell them, we teach them. So we started, especially we focused on women because most of the task of dairy in Ethiopia is handled by women. So they are the one who's going to manage, and it's a source of income for the women also. So they want to change and make these products not to be perishable, to become commercialized. So these are our engagement with value chain actors and government stakeholders, starting from farm all the way to the academics. We have been teaching them how to do the same test that we have been doing so that this can be sustainable. Next. Progress report, as I told you, don't do inception and final report. You need to periodically remind them that things are going to come on their way. There are surprises, interventions, management, policies. So you need to do a periodic. If it is 4 years, at least once in a year, you need to do communications with your stakeholders rather than reporting. Next one. Continuous consultative and roundtable meeting with stakeholders. Sometimes we set a policy agenda. From this research, what kind of agendas or policy agendas can be extracted out so that the government can be ready, so that the stakeholders can be ready to design it. Even if the project is completed, government can take its own assignments. Next. Here, this is what I said. Honestly, you can find all these papers online. We have produced more than 20 papers on baseline prevalence data. And we stated the problem. What we fight with government is that you academicians, you are only telling us problems. But for me, telling you problem is 50% of the solution. If you exactly know what's going on, you have solved half of the problem. I understand. So we stated that. Next one. This is, we didn't stop on only telling them that this thing is not unsolvable. Rather than we provide training interventions for the women farmers, and we come up with evidences how that has been impacted. I can tell you here that our trainings, the one that we provided for the women, has significantly reduced the microbial load of the bacteria. At the same time, the knowledge has increased. But is it enough? It's not enough. The infrastructure is not there, water problems are there. So we need to think about that. But still, these 2 papers, one of them is our own. The second one is independent evaluation by a third party. I'm not the one who have done it. The one that you see on my right hand, it is another project who evaluated the impact of our project. So I'm really happy that it brought a significant change when it is evaluated by somebody else, not only by myself. Next one. So one of the other things that government gets frustrated is when the problem is too much to handle. So as much as possible, you need to design a way at least to start from somewhere. So by doing this geospatial analysis, as you can see from that, by mapping the risk factor, the pathogens against the area. Now, if you focus 100 kilometers around Addis, around the capital city, where the major problem is happening, this will be easier for the government to intervene. Otherwise, if it is all over the country, the resource will not be there. It can be overwhelming. So sometimes you need to use statistical tools or bioinformatics tool so that government can start somewhere in a short or a medium plan. Otherwise, if it is too much, you leave it alone, okay? So please have such kind of designs. I'm really happy that I collaborated with spatial experts. We have already the prevalence data. we have the mapping of each area where the sampling has taken place. And you can see this is where it's happening because, you know, the capital city is where you got the highest revenue for your milk. So everyone want to bring it to Addis. Next. And now this is where economics come. I didn't say we have done in economics, but already UN has done. You need to show them the money. Government want to listen the cost-benefit analysis of things. When you tell him food security, yes, people have to eat. If you tell him that food safety, no, that's not my priority. But you need to tell him what is the burden, how much cost you are going to lose by not ensuring food safety. So these are numbers that we use whenever we want to implement policy. This is not our research, but you can find it. From 6,000, approximately, according to COMESA, Ethiopia loses about 1.9 billion worth of additional exports annually by not ensuring the safety of her export commodities. So we lose annually 1.99 billion. And for me, honestly, when I come to this platform, I really appreciate the work you are doing. Honestly, as economist, it's not about intervention in other things, but focusing on the money. If even the intervention is going to be feasible or not, we need to work on the economics. My project didn't focus on that, but after I met Mark, always I think things in terms of their economics as well, not only bringing the intervention with high costs. We need to think about that. So show them the money. Next one. Public awareness. We have a Facebook page. We have a TikTok page. We have a Facebook page. We go for the social media, and sometimes we go also for the mainstream media. By the way, now you can be your own policy advocates on a social media. TikTok is making changes. Me have a TikTok page that I influence people a lot, honestly. So it's a professional TikTok page. It's not dancing or something like that. I have few views, by the way. When I say people doesn't hear me or doesn't follow me, I know that they want to listen to me, but this is not their cup of tea at this moment. But my audience will get larger and larger as we go. So don't try to make your videos dramatic like others. We are professionals. Tell them the truth, even if it's very hard. So I have pages like that. And also you can influence on your own. Have understood? So please make sure that we have these pages. Still, you can go to these fake pages and you can see the work that we have done. Still, you can find it here. Next. Me, I'm always on TV. I'm famous. I'm like a celebrity. Everyone knows me with food safety, honestly. But this influence has come on my terms. When I get frustrated, I want to purge out by going to the media. I don't want to burn by myself. I understand. So you need to create your own kind of associations. So there are responsible medias who's going to listen to you. Even when I see the US media, there are sessions in news for such kind of topics. So African media also should give media platform for our experts or researchers to influence the government so that such changes can come. Next. These are similar experiences. Next one. This is, sometimes I go to the media, the main media. When things are difficult, I will go to kids' TV show. Because families are more sensitive when it comes to their child rather than to themselves. So this is a kids' show. So I'm trying to explain milk safety, milk quality, how it's going to affect your child. So even the politician is going to listen to me when it is about his baby or kid. So you need to design these different mechanisms. Next one. This is the conversation, unite. Our food safety in Africa should be driven by the consumers. Unfortunately, we are not powerful enough consumers to push the informal market or the food safety in Ethiopia, in Africa. But if you go to developed worlds, it's not the government who make changes. It is consumer advocates who's going to entangle and push the private sector to deliver a safer food. So in Africa also, we need to do that. Have you understand? It's not political. It talks about your food, the food that you are going to consume. Next one. These are messaging. By the way, she is my kid. I'm using her also as a model to reduce cost. So messaging like this for the families, for farmers to be displayed in different language, so that they can, it says give a healthy milk to your child, so that you can expect him to give you that return. Next one. This is World Food Safety Day. You know, even UN has become serious about food safety in 2019. So there is a day on June 7 every year World Food Safety Day is celebrated. So our project has started in 2018. UN has endorsed it June 7, 2019. Starting from that time, continuously 5 times, I've been advocating, or my team has been advocating every time this platform. So you need to engage on that. Next one, this is World Food Safety Day that we have been engaging on that. Next. Whenever you finish a project, please don't leave your materials everywhere. As much as possible, try to hand it over to the government so that they can scale it and make it system. Honestly, whenever you have any kind of materials, even me, I purchase a USB hard drive to put everything in a hard drive and give to stakeholders so that the incentive is the USB, but what I need from them is to take my materials so that they can make it system. Next one. This is the hard drive I told you. I still have it. Insure Dairy project. It is printed out in USA. So this is simple, but at least for the flash, somebody will take the message if you like it or not. These are our final conclusive workshop where higher level state ministers has come at Hilton Hotel and celebrated that day. I'm really happy with that. Next one. Mind me my time, okay? Whenever, because I'm not controlling the slide, I may take over too much time. This is final press release that we are giving. It is covered by more than 10 medias. Honestly, still they continue that. Next one. These are panel discussions by so that the government officials, these are each stakeholders. Next one. Handover. This is a handover, not only for the federal government, but to each regional places. The one that you see is that those places where we have been doing interventions in the rural places. So these materials are posted everywhere, has been taken over by them. Whenever they come for milk purchasing, they can see the message, farmers when they go back home, okay? Next one. This is, by the way, Mark told me he was there. I didn't meet him. This is in London. We have been also discussing grantees, learning from each other, what things can be changed. How one country can learn from another one. So this has been also, as offenders, to make it scalable, sustainable, they need to understand us, so they fund us more what's going to be the challenge to make this thing sustainable. I'm hoping that Shelly is going to come in the afternoon, so that will be a good opportunity for us to advocate for that. Next one. By the way, don't stop when the project ends. That's the message. We are, as academicians, as researchers, we are responsible for the society. It's not only we speak when we have a fund. I understand. We need to continuously sustain even beyond project completion. The next one that you can see, this is a panel discussion that has been held by private sector. I will come later why this private sector has held this panel discussion, but we sustain the effort. Next one. Last month, next one. Last month, I decided to write an open letter to the Prime Minister to say, take food safety seriously. Let us prioritize food safety like the other endeavors of the government. This has been taken by several medias. Even if still I didn't get the answer, I can understand the reason, but I have done my part. I understand. Next one. The impact of the project, when we started it now in 2025, milk adulteration by water is 60%. But today, this is 2025, adulteration with water is only 10% in Ethiopia. So have you seen that? From a 60% adulteration with water, now it has reached only 10%. This is even beyond our project, that the regulators have taken their own initiative and they have done their analysis with SNV, a Netherlands company, and they come up with this result. I'm really happy that water adulteration has decreased, but unfortunately the volume of water the volume of milk has reduced. But they are telling me it's not the volume of the milk that reduced, rather the water has reduced. Next one. Opportunities are there. Next one, please. You need to understand that not all research is going to make a policy influence. It's like in the Bible. You throw away seed, some of them might be in the past, some of them would be in the good soil, some of them might be taken by the birds, but don't get frustrated. Some of the seeds, one way or another, will get their own time to grow and influence policies. I understand. So keep on iterating that. Next. Next one, use AI tools. This is not the topic that was given to me, but we need to think about after we reach policy, I have two challenges. translating policies into what? Into action. One is, I already said it, policy stagnation. The other one that I'm facing, and I will finish with that. Can you take me to policy piggybacking? Take me next one, the next one, so that I can finish. I'm sorry, I took my time. Next one. Yes. This is a new word that I understood because I faced this problem myself. I can show you an example. Next slide. Now, as you know that currently the government in Addis Ababa is making Addis Ababa to be beautiful. He's making lots of changes around the corridor. Things are changing. And we have been making several studies previously that the vegetables that are growing near the rivers are contaminated. And we have these papers, but the government hasn't said anything the last 10 years with these papers. But now, he has a reason for him to use this paper. Why? To make those people to displace from that place, you need to give a reasoning for the public. You need to tell them that the horticulture or the vegetable is seriously contaminated, so you need to move away. This is what we call policy piggybacking. Sometimes the agenda is already there, the policy is there, but they might use it positively or negatively. Sometimes it will affect me. They will not assume that the government has displaced them. Rather, Ashagrie, as a researcher, has displaced them. Have you understand? So we need to be careful. And I'm advising, I told the government, even if the people have to be displaced, when the river is clean, they have to come back and horticulture once again on those places. Have you understand? They don't have to be kicked away. They need to come back and still make healthy horticulture out there. The second one, next slide. I will finish with this. This is private sector's piggybacking. We studied the problem of food safety in milk. You know, private sectors, milk processors, because of informal market or illegal traders, they were not able to collect milk from the farmers. Now, by using the concept of milk is not safe, raw milk is not safe, now currently at this time, when I came here, everyone, private sector is advertising, telling research papers for the community, like milk has formalin, to the level of formalin, for the one that you use for dead person, to the level of formalin. So the people is going to stop what? Consuming raw milk, so that this means that more milk will enter where? To the processors. So we need to be very careful as researchers about such kind of mechanisms as well. That's what I have. Next slide. Thank you very much. I think you'll get the message. The last one, and you can take me to thank you. Thank you very much, Mark, for the opportunity and for me.
I didn't expect him to have a lot of messages like this. I thought there would be a few, but it is a very, very rich presentation. So I thank you very much, Professor, for what you have shared. Because we have about 2 minutes, and because this is a unique presentation, it is something different from the research you have done, I think we can allow 1 or 2 comments from the delegates so that we may not discuss this later, but if it comes, fine. So I would like to offer a chance to the floor if you have a comment or a question so that we can rest that presentation. So anyone with a comment, a burning comment or a question for Ashagrie? Yes, Abi, please take the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ashagrie. It is excellent. I was really impressed. I think maybe I should say that food safety is very, very important, like access to food. Recently, the city that I'm living is in Nairobi. I see a lot of news reports about a supermarket which is being closed by the government because they were selling expired items and they were employing people who are not certified also to serve in food safety area or in the food distribution within the network. It is a Niavas supermarket. It was a very big news. So I think your work is exceptional, exemplary, and I think something that we should take seriously. I'm happy that you are opening up to economists as a scientist. I was in Italy recently, and we were discussing about a scientist like yourself who has done some laboratory tests on insects. And he showed how we can really reduce by tackling a bacteria, how we can reduce the post-harvest loss of insect, which is one of the staple foods for a highly densely population region that we have in Ethiopia. I think we can collaborate with that scientist. We should have a tripartite collaboration, insect, milk, meat, and other food items, including economists in that group. And I think I'm almost certain that funding councils will be very, very much interested. I think this is an excellent presentation and an excellent example, and also a very good maybe model for us to follow. I don't know how you get the energy. I'm impressed. I think maybe one thing that came out to me is that you are focused and you are pushing it. In our case, we have 20, 30 projects, and we are really spread everywhere. I think focus for impact is a key message that I took. Otherwise, thank you for this excellent exemplary presentation.
Thank you, Abi, for those comments. Anyone else who would want to comment? I can have Madam, and we'll go to the gentleman.
Thank you, Prof, for an excellent presentation. And I want to congratulate you for involving the women. You stated it in the pictures. It's not just about presenting, but you showed evidence how you involve women. But with the issue of milk production, I just want to know how many women can afford. Is it affordable? Because we may produce it, but they may not be able to afford it. So I think we should look at that area as well. And the other thing I want to stress on is about gender disaggregated data. You involved a lot of women, but we need to know the data. Yes, it is also very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's take another question, and then we'll allow Professor. Please ask your question.
Bien. Merci pour la parole donnée et félicitations une fois de plus, professeur. Je vais un peu m'inspirer de ce qui se passe dans mon pays au niveau du Cameroun pour vous poser un peu quelques questions. La première question, et ce que je n'ai pas vu apparaître, peut-être ça m'a échappé, est-ce que vous avez, est-ce qu'en Éthiopie, il existe une loi sur la sécurité sanitaire des aliments? Première question. La deuxième question est de savoir, c'est sur le coût de la certification. Parce que là, vous aviez parlé de l'élaboration d'une norme. Est-ce que cette norme-là est d'application obligatoire ou alors elle est facultative? Maintenant, est-ce que l'Éthiopie importe du lait venant de l'étranger? Est-ce que ce lait-là, par rapport à cette norme que vous avez évoquée, est-ce que ces produits étrangers-là sont également obligés de s'arrimer à cette norme-là? Comment cela, ça se passe au niveau de l'OMC? Je suis obligé de mettre cette préoccupation autour de la table, puisque je suis également au niveau du ministère du Commerce. Maintenant, pour terminer, c'est vraiment le coût de l'accès à la certification des producteurs de lait. Je vais peut-être prendre un cas au Cameroun. Nous travaillons parfois avec les micro petites et moyennes entreprises qui, au niveau de l'agence en charge de la normalisation, ce que nous appelons au Cameroun ANOR, vous disent parfois, pour certifier un petit produit comme ça, le coût de la certification, je ne sais pas traduire ça en dollars, mais je vais le dire en francs CFA. On est là parfois à 1 million, parfois à 2 millions, parfois à 3 millions. Et par le passé, il fallait, la fréquence de certification était 2 fois par an. C'est récemment qu'on a ramené ça à 1 fois par an. Comment cela se passe en Éthiopie? Est-ce que ce n'est pas un facteur de blocage pour l'accès à la certification pour ces paysans, parfois qui sont issus parfois des ménages très pauvres? Comment vous avez pu gérer cela en Éthiopie? Une fois de plus, félicitations pour vos résultats très intéressants. Merci.
I didn't want to open fully because we are eating now into the time. Maybe dear Kamnia, very short question and then a short one, then we open. We have a professor.
My name is short. First, I would like to commend Prof. Zewdu and his team for the engagement, the policy engagement all along. That was huge. And I think over researchers should take that as a good practice of policy engagement. My question now is to know, throughout a lot of, he need a lot of funding. So was the government did the government engage into the cost aspect of, the policy engagement? Because we know that it is very difficult, huge to get the people together. And through over his presentation, we saw that at the inception, interim report, final report, all along. So thank you very much.
Okay, Kapik.
Thank you, Prof. Yeah, I mean, mine also align with the comments of Prof. Kamia. Yes, you engage stakeholder at the initial kickoff of research. My question is, it's likely that we have some resistances. Yeah, people are not keen to participate in research because we have some interest. Yeah, go if I dilute the milk with water, I can sell more water. So why will I be barely engaged in that issue? So what you as a researcher want to produce evidence by the stakeholders, what was their good interest in having this kind of evidence? I mean, from the small stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay, Prof, you can take the questions and then we proceed.
Thank you very much, everyone. The first question with regard to the women. By the way, when I say the women are already producers of milk, I understand. So they are not going to purchase it from somewhere else. Already there are dairy smallholder farmers that we are teaching. The good thing about, you need to understand in Ethiopia is that previously it is a taboo to sell milk, because it is a taboo because milk is for the kid and for the family. But because of now, the productivity of milk is decreasing, that commercial farms or commercial producers are taking away from the kids. So now even me, I'm advocating now at this time, the government should do something about it, because the kids are stunted. Have you understand? If they are not going to consume milk and if it's going to be taken away by the commercial producers, the smallholder farmers' kids may not get milk, and some of them are not getting their own riches. They are not consuming their own milk. The lady, if she change it to a cheese or other things, the income used to be hers. But when you take it to a commercial, now the husband is going to be part of that and he's going to take away her benefits. So milk used to be for the children and for the mother. So these things needs rethinking once again. And I'm telling commercial processors to source milk from their own commercial farm, not from the smallholders, and government should do something. Even this needs a policy idea, honestly, to make government. Otherwise, you know that the stunting in Ethiopia is like 38%, 39%, 5 million children are stunted. If you take away the milk, it's going to add an additional problem. So I hope you understand that. The other thing that you told me, okay. The other thing that you told me is with regard to gender aggregated data. I didn't show you, the paper is not published, but we have gender analysis with regard to dairy value chain. So I can share that paper for you so that you can see the role of male and female children with regard to milk, including the safety and other things papers might be. I really like the second question from Cameroon, honestly. That's a big challenge, not only for Cameroon or Africa. Certification is a bit costly, especially when you make it third-party certification. Now, with the hard currency, for example, in Ethiopia, one USD used to be 58 birr. Now it's around 150 birr. So you could imagine how much burden is going to bring on the manufacturer to get certified. So when I say that the certification has back mandatory, it's not a third-party certification. It's rather, it is a second party. The government is going to have his own scheme developed from the third party. Have you understand? So if they want to go to the third party, they have to do it on their own. It's not mandatory. So it's only the second party certification that's going to be mandatory. Otherwise, it's going to be mission impossible for many of the milk manufacturers to do that by adapting the standard, the scheme from that. As you said, we have SPSS, sanitation phytosanitary rules. As I said, the problem is not policies, rules, or something like that. Implementing those are the main issue that we are facing. So in terms of the documentation, the paper, we have that, but implementing it is the main problem. Our study didn't cover imported products, imported dairy milks, but still Ethiopia import a significant amount of milk from abroad. And what I can tell you that the last thing I said about policy picking from private sectors, by saying there is milk, formalin in the milk, they want you to consume powdered milk. They want to export. I have seen some brands who are still coming using that as news. So we need to be very careful and investigate also if those imported products are also going through the same mandatory. I can tell you one product used to be very famous in Ethiopia, and he's producing that milk powder not from casein, rather from whey. But the powder is cheaper, but for our kids, we need the protein called casein, not whey. Whey means the one that after you produce a cheese, it is the one that's going to be discarded. But now that company is not there anymore. So we need to be very careful about that. The last one, the third one, yes. Even sometimes if Shelly is going to come, I will I will tell her always, she owe me another 1 million because the work that we have done, honestly, because I'm passionate about that. We have excused all the resources that we got through the project to engage because we have done it through passion. But how the government is involved, whenever you come up with a standard request, it has to through the process of the Ethiopian Standard Agency. It's not something that I developed the standard by myself. I have to take the research and based on its own technical experts, independent people have to sit and decide. So one way or another, government is going to invest in developing of the standards, sending people to the workshop, attending meetings. All these costs are going to be covered by the government. So I can't take this. Maybe the last question that you tell me, yes, as a researcher, I didn't start food safety today. I started it like 15 years ago. And you know what happens when a paper come out about aflatoxin M1 in milk by Early in Kenya, Early, that the whole market was disrupted and the government was very sad. Even there have been a threat to shut down the institute itself. So those resistance are there. But the good thing about now is that Ethiopia is going through economic reform and she's going to allow many foreign investors to come to Ethiopia, and the government is telling now Ethiopian producers, if you are not going to work by quality, you are going to be out of business. So even if it is a hard news, for a consumer, it's a good news, I understand. You are going to get a much cheaper product, a safer product. Even now we are saying Africa free continental trade. The idea is that I know, for example, Kenya produce high amount of milk. I have 3 kids. If I get safe milk from Kenya, I'm ready to buy it rather than giving a milk which is substandard. So such evidences, even if they are not happy to hear by all the stakeholders, one way or another, they have to go through this channel, and that's what we are pushing for. No, this is not a message for Ethiopia, for the whole Africa. We need to be ready to work with quality and food scientists. Otherwise, the next colonization is not going to be with the army and other things. It's going to be on economics. So we need to be ready for such challenges, and we need to use our experts to help industries to upgrade to that competitor market. Thank you very much.
Let us give an applause to Professor Ashagrie. Thank you very much. We have really engaged, and it's time